as we come into Sukhasana, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and move the fleshy part out from underneath your sit bones and feel like the top of the head is drawing you up to the sky, like you have a string attached and it's just pulling you up to the sun. So we have this lengthening of the spine, really lifting our rib cage up and away from our pelvic floor and sitting nice and tall. From here, you can either stagger the feet, cross at the ankles, or move to the mid-shins, whatever feels best for you. And as always, do what feels right. And as you come into this Sukhasana easy seated, just relax your shoulders. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And just settle into this space. We have all these thoughts that like to bounce around in our head. So take this moment to recognize those thoughts. And then imagine they're books. And you're closing these books and setting them up on the shelf, knowing you can always deal with them later. Start to be aware of your sit bones grounding you to the earth as the crown of the head draws you to the sky. Feel free to roll the shoulders back and down to feel them relax. It tends to be a place where we carry a lot of tension, so softening those shoulders. Allow yourself to let go of any thoughts or to-do lists. They'll still be there when class is over. Just take this time for you. Create this stress-free, problem-free zone. Notice the breath moving through the nose. And then let's take one hand to the heart and one hand to the stomach. And let's work what's called a 3-part breath. So as you inhale, feel your belly expand. Bring the air up behind the heart, feel the chest rise. And then float that air into the back of the throat. When you exhale, release the air from the throat. Feel the chest release as you release the air from there. And draw the belly in tight so you can push the last remaining pieces of air out of the body. Continue with this 3-part breath, inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. You may start to be getting feedback from your hips, your knees, your ankles, your back, all over the body. You may start to be getting more feedback as you hold this easy seated a little longer. I want you to take 2 more deep flowing breaths in this 3-part breath, relaxing. Notice, did you become that professional sloucher, or are you still sitting up nice and tall? When you finish that last deep breath, I want you to release the arms and change that lead leg. Let's bring balance into easy seated. Readjusting, feeling yourself returning to sitting tall. And this time, just let your hands release over your knees. And let's do seated cat and cow. Exhale, round the back, tucking the chin towards the chest. And then inhale, arch the back, lifting the chin to the sky. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch and lift. And continue to flow this seated cat and cow, listening to the body. But I want you to take this 2 more times. And when you come back to sitting up nice and tall, let's inhale and circle sweep those arms up to the sky. Exhale them down through the midline. Inhale, circle up to the sun. Exhale down and through. One more time, circle to rise. Hands to rest at the heart. Take a pause here. We come onto our mats for many different reasons. So whatever brought you on the mat today, honor this. Listen to the body. Become that student of your body. Recognizing what it needs and moving and flowing from there. We set expectations at times on our mat where I have to touch my toes, I have to do this. And we don't. We are on a journey. So be kind, be patient. All will come. This month we're focusing on the sound of Om. So let's take a nice big inhale. The eyes are closed, gently blink them open. Sometimes our whole energy changes just hearing the sound of Om. So just allow yourself to let go of any feelings of being uncomfortable in saying Om, and just allow just one time, try it to see how the body feels. Let's go ahead and move into table pose, coming onto all fours. So as we make our way to all fours, what I want you to do is place your hands underneath your shoulders so we have this stack of shoulders to wrists, and the knees are under hips so we have that nice straight line. But let's take a twist. I want you to inhale and bring your right arm up to the sky. Follow the thumb up. And as you exhale, thread the needle, reach through, and see about bringing your shoulder and ear to the mat. If that doesn't work, we use our blocks to bring the floor closer to us, and same thing. But instead of just letting the right arm flop to the earth, reach and stretch like you're going to touch the other side of the room. And then push into your left hand, opening the heart and chest just a little bit more. And I invite you to stay here, or bring your hand to the sky, or take it over to that right hip. When you do that, roll the left shoulder in. And just see how the body feels here. Let's release and press into that left hand and follow that right thumb back up to the sky. And from here, start to circle the arm around. And we're going to do this 3 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, circle around. Inhale up. Exhale around. One more time. Placing that hand on the earth. And again, find that alignment first, stacking. Then inhale, left arm to the sky. And thread the needle. Exhale, reach it through, settling down onto the earth. Draw those fingertips away from your body, pushing into the hand. Sending the hand to the sky, or coming across to the opposite hip, rolling the shoulder blade in and back. Take one more deep breath here. And then let's untwist, following that left arm back up to the sky. And then exhale, circle around. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, circle. I want you to do this 2 more times. And then place your hand back down on the earth. Grab your blocks and send it, or just one, send it to the top of the mat. Actually, turn it horizontal and have the long, narrow edge towards you. If you're not sinking back into child's pose, just come halfway back. Otherwise, release all the way and reach the arms forward. So almost your thumbs can frame that block, but they're shoulder width apart. And then from here, inhale forward to kneeling plank. Now, if you opened your knees wide to do child's pose, walk them back underneath your hips. I want you to lower so your chest hovers right above that block. Exhale, hover. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, press up. Exhale, float back. Again, come forward. Bend the elbows, chest over thumbs, elbows into ribs. Press up, float back. If that is a little on the easier side for you, take the block lower. It's not about how far you can go. We want to keep our shoulders above this elbow crease. So let's inhale forward, exhale hover. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise up, exhale, hinge back. One more time, inhale forward, and then lower to hover. 3, 2, 1. Press up and float back. I want you to take that block off to the side, reach the arms out. Now, if you are pregnant or protecting a back, you're going to come back into table and I want you to do spinal balance. The rest of us, I want us to inhale forward and exhale all the way down onto our stomachs. So coming into this cobra prep. And as we're here, I want you to inhale, lift the heart and hands. Exhale, lower chest or chin to the mat. Inhale, lift the legs. Exhale, lower. So teeter-totter. Inhale, upper body lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lower body lifts. Exhale, lower. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Do this 2 more times. From here, turn the toes under, press up onto those knees, and float back to your heels with your toes turned under. Slowly walk your hands back towards your heels, and either stay here getting a nice stretch, or start to deepen that stretch, walking your hands up your thighs, and then bringing the hands to the heart. And just hold here, take a gaze straight ahead, and feel the soles of the feet stretching out. Then slowly bring your hands back down, walk the hands into table pose, and then float into child's pose. Then we're going to walk our fingertips out a little bit more, Uttita Balasana, and practice that 8-point press. It's part of our sun salutations this month. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, bring your chest and chin to the mat, hips up high, like you can roll a ball under your hips. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hinge back. Now, earlier we did a yogi push-up where we came here. So if you need to do that instead of your 8-point press, feel free to take that yogi push-up instead. Otherwise, inhale forward, chest over thumbs. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. So chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hinge back. I want you to do this 2 more times. Let your breath guide you through the movements. It is not about trying to keep on a pace with me. It's about where the breath can guide you. From here, inhale forward towards those thumbs, but keep your toes turned under and start to pull your hips to the sky so we can meet in down dog. Roll up onto your tippy toes and then roll through your spine to come into plank or kneeling. Float your heels, hips back up to the sky, high on the tippy toes, and then relax your heels down. Inhale, roll up and round through the spine to get into plank. Then reverse it, round and lift those hips, and roll the heels back down. 2 more times, lifting to roll through the spine, lifting to roll down through the heels. Last time. Settle into your down dog, whether it's with bent knees, straight legs, or pedaling the heels. Kind of take it where you need it. Notice your jaw. Is it holding tension? Are you clenching your teeth? Notice your hamstrings. Are they feeling a little tender today? We need to be kind to them. Then inhale, bend knees, look to thumbs, step forward to the top of your mat, and take forward fold with bent knees or straight legs. You decide. But I want you to look to your knees, your shins, or your thighs instead of to your hands or toes. This allows us to really let our head and neck relax. Inhale, rise up to the sun, but grip the opposite elbow. And I'm going to turn and face you, and I want you to sway your hips opposite of your elbows. So plant your lower body, but bring fluidity into the upper body. So we're just swaying here, but our legs are strong. And just bring movement. Maybe you're not going to move your hips, and you're going to keep your hips steady and just move from the rib cage. It is up to you. Find what you need. Move at your own pace. Go ahead one more time each side. Reach up to the sky. Release and come into Tadasana, mountain pose. I'm going to turn back to the top of my mat, and let's stand nice and tall. Whether we have softness to the knees or the legs are nice and straight, it is up to you. But as we move through this sun salutation, it is a one breath, one move flow. It is the fastest part of the class. So I need you to understand we're going to slow down after this, but you're going to move at your own pace. I'm going to cue you breath with movement, but see what works for you. We inhale and follow our thumbs up to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers can go to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees for kneeling lunge and send your right knee back. Look forward so you can lengthen the body. Exhale the left knee into kneeling plank, chest over thumbs. Exhale the child's pose, hips towards heels. Now let's set up for that 8-point press. First, inhale forward to kneeling plank, turn the toes under. Exhale, chest and chin to the earth. So chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Inhale, release the toes and hips and scoop through to cobra. Elbows stay bent. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Inhale, right foot forward to kneeling lunge. Now you may get here and your foot's back here. Grab that ankle and help the foot forward. Then look forward. Exhale, step into fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise to the sky. Hands into heart. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers can go to shins as you flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees for that kneeling lunge, but now it's the left knee that goes back and we look forward. Exhale, right knee into kneeling plank. Toes can be turned under already, and then float back into child's pose. Set up for 8-point press. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, chest and chin to the earth, hips up to the sky. Inhale, scoop through to cobra, hips down, elbows bent. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale the left foot forward to kneeling lunge. Look forward. Exhale into fold. This time I want you to inhale, rise up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. So feel free to keep that kneeling version. We rise to the sun, fold to the earth. Take the option, halfway lift, fingers to shins or not. Exhale, fold. Take a big step back to lunge or kneeling. Right foot goes back. Exhale to plank or kneeling. Chest over thumbs, look forward of your fingertips. Exhale into down dog or child's pose. Now we set up for 8-point press. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, 8-point press. Scoop through up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Float the right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Look forward. Left foot into fold. Rise up to the sun. Hands lower to heart. Rise to the sky. Stay with your breath. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift. And fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling, but look forward. Right foot into plank or kneeling. Look forward to those fingertips. Come into down dog or child's pose. Float forward to the hands, plank or kneeling. And then if you're in plank, release your knees so we can all lower to 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Draw that left foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Help that foot so the knee and ankle restack. And step into fold. Rise to the sky. Hands to the heart. So I'm going to give you a little twisting version here. And then we're going to do it one more round and you'll find what you want to do. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift with a twist. So bring the right arm up to the sky, whether the hand is on the earth or the left hand is on the shin. Exhale, release. Take a step back with that right foot to lunge or kneeling. Look forward and then lift your left arm to the sky for that twist. Release into plank or kneeling. From here, roll to your right heel or come onto the right knee and come into side plank. As you release, make your way into down dog or child's pose. Forward to kneeling plank for 8-point press. Lower chest and chin to the earth. Scoop up dog or cobra. Hold, look over the right shoulder. Come into down dog or child's pose. Float the right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. And then if you want, pick the right arm up into that twist. Exhale into fold. Rise to the sky. Hands lower to heart. Again, reach to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift. Left arm can rise into this half lift. And then fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling, but peel the right arm up to the sky. Release into plank or kneeling. And if you're in plank, roll to the left heel or keep that left knee down, kicking the foot. Vinyasa, side plank. Return the hand to the earth. Come into down dog or child's pose. Setting up for 8-point press, we come into that kneeling plank and exhale to the earth with the chest and chin. Scoop up dog or cobra. Look over that left shoulder. Come into down dog or child's pose. Send the left foot forward to lunge or kneeling, with or without the left arm lifting for your twist. And then step into fold. Rise up to the sun. Hands into heart. I want you to take this one more time each side. Rise to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift. If you want to twist, add that twist. Then fold. Send the right foot or knee back to lunge, kneeling, or add your twist. Step into plank or kneeling, or go into side plank. Make your way into down dog or child's pose. Forward to kneeling plank so we can exhale into 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra, with or without the look over the shoulder. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Float the right foot forward to lunge, kneeling, or twist, but look forward if you're not twisting. Step into fold. Rise to the sun. Hands into heart. One more round. Rise to the sky. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift with or without the twist. Then fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge, kneeling, or twist. If you're not twisting, look straight ahead. Step into plank or kneeling, or make your way into Vinyasa, side plank. Come into down dog or child's pose. Forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra, with or without the look over the left shoulder. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Float the left foot forward to lunge, kneeling, or add that twist. Step into fold. Rise to the sky. Hands lower to the heart. And just take a pause here. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale, side out. One more time. Find ease in your practice, and if that means breathing out the mouth into a sigh or just taking a kneeling version of a pose, I encourage you to do that. This is all about you and what your body needs. So as we stand nice and tall, I just want you to feel the soles of the feet root you to the earth. From here, let's rise up to the sun and exhale, fold to the earth. And as you fold, I just want you to grip the opposite elbow and just let yourself hang over your hips by drawing the low belly up and in. As you release your hands, let's all step into plank and find power in our hold as we look 2 to 3 feet forward of the fingers. Not with our chin, just with our eye gaze. So we're pulling our chest towards our thumbs. And as we rise up into down dog, we lift our hips and then float the right foot off the earth into this down dog split or three-legged dog. Without bending your knee, first push through your heel and stack your right hip on top of the left. So come into this hip opener. And then as you push back towards your left thigh, start to drop the heel and let your right leg go heavy. And then if you can, come up onto the fingertips of your right hand. And just feel like your right leg just went even heavier. And let's float forward into a lunge, stepping the right foot forward, and then look forward like we did in our warm-up. Make sure this right knee is stacked over the ankle. Now you might need your box for this flow. As we lift our hips and come into this variation of pyramid, we bow towards that thigh or shin. And then we float forward into a lunge. So let's make it a vinyasa, breath with movement. Exhale, lift the toes, bow. Inhale forward. Now remember, if you need your blocks, you have 3 different levels of those blocks. So you decide. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale, lift toes. Inhale. Exhale. Yesterday we bent the back leg. Today we're bending and straightening the front leg. Come back into that lunge. Bring your hands forward and come into this tripod stance. Maybe you had to move your blocks, but can you bend your elbows and make it a standing split? Kick that heel towards the sky. And as we release the knee, we exhale to sit in chair. And then rise up, bring the left thigh with you, opening the knee out to the side. And let's come into tree pose, bringing that foot, whether it's the inner thigh, the calf, or toe to the floor, heel to the ankle. And bring the hands to the heart. But can you grow taller? Just like we did in our easy seated, our rib cage pulling up and away from our hips. Really feeling the right foot grounding to the earth. As you bring your knee forward, press into warrior 3. And this is our transition. Take a breath here. And release on an exhale into warrior 1. Bend the knee, but I want you to interlace the fingers behind the back and lift the heart to the sky. Start to straighten the leg and tip back down that thigh a little bit more. And let's meet in humble warrior. As you bend the knee, your shoulder and chest come inside the leg. Draw your right hip back. Let the head go heavy. On your next exhale, release. Step into plank. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Maybe in this moment you need to shake the head yes and no. But then step to the top of your mat. And I want you to bend your knees nice and deep and send your hands to gorilla underneath. Maybe your toes can't touch your wrist, so you gotta bend nice and deep. And then if you'd like, start to straighten your legs and bend the elbows just a little bit more. And I want you to tip forward into your toes and rock back to your heels. Tip forward into your toes. Rock back to your heels. 2 more times. Forward to the toes. Lean forward. Rock back. 1 more time. Lean forward. And rock back. Inhale. Rise into chair. Exhale. Fold to the earth. And step into your plank. Looking 2 to 3 feet forward of those fingers. And then lift into down dog. Floating your left foot off the earth, 3-legged. Keep your hips aiming to the mat first. Push through your right heel, left heel, keep the leg straight. Then hip opener, roll that left hip to stack on top of the right. But your left shoulder should be pulling you towards the right heel. Then bend the knee and let that leg go heavy. And maybe balance a little bit more up onto the tips of your left fingers. Feel that right heel release. Floating forward into a lunge. Knee over ankle, look forward. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. So if your feet are aligned, heel toe that left foot over. Again, you may need your blocks for this because we're going to lift the left toes. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Straighten. And bend. Lift the hips up, but let your right heel release once those hips lift. Take this one more time. And as you bend, let's reach the hands forward and come into tripod stance. So either stay in tripod or bow, taking your forehead towards the shin, kicking your right foot higher. From here, release into chair. And as you lift up top, bring your right thigh up, setting up for tree. Open the knee out to the side. Take your foot, inner thigh, calf, toe to the floor, heel to the ankle. Whatever feels right for you. Then where do you want your hands to go? Are they raising to the ceiling? Are they up to the heart? Are they open to the side? As we bring the knee forward, I want you to reach back with your hand in the right heel into Warrior 3. Floating into Warrior 1, send that right foot back. Feel free to interlace the fingers. Draw the knuckles down as you open the heart. But be careful of popping the ribs. Keep the core in tight by pulling your rib cage in. Bend strong into that left knee. Let's straighten the leg, tip back a little bit more, and then come into Humble Warrior. Shoulder and chest inside the knee. Draw your left hip back. Let your head go heavy. Let's release our hands to the earth, step into plank, lower to crocodile, scoop up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Take a nice big inhale here. Open the mouth, let it out. Stay here, floating your right foot off the earth, and then open that hip. Push through the heel. Bend the knee, come a little bit wider in that open. Then swing that right foot forward into a lunge. But I want you to stay here. And as we twist, we're going to bring the right arm up to the sky, but then stretch it overhead and pull your belly button towards the thigh just a little bit more. As we bring the arm around, make your way into Warrior 2, readjusting those feet, opening hips and shoulders. So now we're reaching long and strong. One more breath here. So straighten the leg, reach into triangle, big reach here like your back is against the wall. I want you to feel you're driving into the big toe mound and allow yourself to feel like you're holding a beach ball between the legs. And if you'd like, stretch the arm over the ear. Inhale, rise up with straight legs. Take a reverse triangle, keeping that left hip tucked under the body. If your hip is still up from triangle, pull it down and then stretch. Windmill down into a low lunge, but step into plank and let's move into side plank. Roll to the heels, stack the heels, lift the arm, pull the hips. Wherever that foot wants to go, maybe you want to take the foot to the inner thigh. Then let's meet in plank. Lower to crocodile. Lift to up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Take a moment. Shake the head. Yes. And no. Now let's float that left foot off the earth to three-legged. Flex your foot without bending the knee. I just want you to stack the left hip on top of the right. What's your left shoulder doing? Is it opening or can you keep the shoulders squared? Then bend the knee. Setting up for that twisting lunge, sweep the left foot towards the hands, help the knee over ankle, and then pull the left arm to the sky. Hug that left hip in. Feel free to stretch over the ear. Where's this hip? If it's swinging out to the side, I need you to pull it in and back. Make your way around and into warrior two, adjusting those feet. Watch the hips. If you went sassy on me, tuck that right hip under. Then let's straighten the leg. Reach like your back is sliding against the wall and come into triangle. Trikonasana. Now, our hand can go to our thigh, our shin. We can always use a block. But if you want to stretch the arm over the head, take it there. With the power in your legs, rise up into reverse triangle. Tuck this right hip back under. Big stretch. We're not leaning forward. We're stretching straight over to the side. Windmill down into a low lunge. And step into plank. Lower crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Step to the top of your mat. If you'd like, use your peace sign fingers to the big toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend and stretch. Now again, if your hamstrings are giving you a lot of feedback, take a bend to those knees. Inhale, rise to chair. Exhale, fold to the earth and meet me in plank. Step, hop, walk it, whatever you need to do. Now float your right foot off the earth and lift into three-legged. Flex the foot. We're going back to the beginning. Roll that hip. Bend the knee and feel free to come up onto those fingertips. Floating into that low lunge, looking forward. Lift the heel into pyramid. Back into low lunge. Lift the heel. Toes, I mean. Back into that low lunge. Lift the toes. And release. 3 more like this. Be careful your hips are not dropping below your knee. We want to keep those hips engaged. Use the power instead of those of you that are flexible dropping into the joints. Hold here, standing splits or tripod. Lift up, and maybe we take a bow. We release into chair pose. Setting up for tree, bring that left thigh up. Open it out to the side. Find your tree pose. Wherever you want your hands to go, feel free to take it there. As the knee comes forward, float into warrior 3. Again, where do you want the arms? Release into warrior 1 with an interlace of the fingers behind the back. Draw the knuckles down. Straighten the leg, tip back a little bit more. And then humble warrior. Bow inside that thigh. Hug the right hip to the back corner of your mat. Release the hands to the earth. Step into plank. Lower crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Float the right leg up. Open that hip. Sweep it into twisting lunge. Maybe take the arm overhead. Release into warrior two. Float into triangle. With or without the stretch overhead. Rise up into reverse triangle. Tuck that left hip under. Windmill to low lunge. Step into plank and either stay in plank or make your way into side plank. Any variation you'd like. Release. Sweep into three-legged. We're going to do a little add-on. Come into Anjaneyasana, warrior lunge. Come into lunge. Bring your left knee down and then rise up as your hips melt forward. Where do you want your hands? On the earth, on the thigh, reaching to the sun. Bring your hands inside the foot. Rise into straddle fold. So as you lift, you pivot and come into straddle fold. Take a different vinyasa here. Walk the hands forward. Give me 2 push-ups. Step or hop into a squat. Either walk your hands back or push off the hands, come into toe balance. Bring the hands back down. Step or hop into straddle fold. Then walk the hands forward to straddle plank. 2 push-ups. Step or hop into a squat. Push off the hands, find toe balance. Let's meet in our straddle fold. Walk over to your right foot and step into fold. Just take a nice long stretch here. Then bend your knees. Make your way into plank. Floating into down dog to lift the left leg. Push through the heel, open that hip, and then drop the knee. Bend the knee to drop the heel. Come on to the tippy tips of your fingers. Stretch a little bit more. And then float into that low lunge. And let's take that flow. Separate the feet. Remember, lift the toes, bow. Come forward, look forward. Lift the toes to pyramid. Bend into that lunge, look forward. 4 more. Use blocks under your hands if you need it. Come onto your fingertips if you need it. 1 more. We make our way into standing tripod or standing split. So either here or bow. We lower into chair with that foot down. Come on up with that chest. Press to rise and bring the right thigh up. Making your way into tree pose, whatever that looks like for you. Where do you want to take the hands today? As you bring the knee forward, float into warrior 3. Find balance, find power. Hips and shoulders aiming to the mat, float into warrior 1. Interlace the fingers, bend the knee, heart lifts to the sky. Straighten the leg. Humble warrior. Come inside that thigh, draw the left hip back. Head is heavy, like it's dropping you towards the earth. Release into plank, lower crocodile. Float the heart to the sun, hinge back. Float back into that 3-legged, then open the hip again. Making your way into twisting lunge, bring that left foot forward, bring the left arm up to the sky. Stay here, pulling this left hip back, but add a stretch if you'd like. Coming into warrior two, circle the arm around. Adjust your feet when you rise up. Taking yourself into triangle, whatever that looks like for you. On your next inhale, rise up to reverse triangle. Windmill down inside the hands. And let's make our way into straddle fold. Right, so you are facing maybe the opposite direction from me, and that's fine. I'm going to turn around though to still show this flow. So from your straddle fold, I want you to walk your hands forward to straddle plank. 2 push-ups. Step or hop into a squat, push off the hands, toe balance. Now if this is not for you, stay in straddle fold. One more time, come into straddle fold. Walk your hands forward to straddle plank. 2 push-ups. Step or hop into that squat. Push off the hands. Find toe balance. Really bring your chest up. Stack your shoulders over hips. Then come back into that straddle fold. Walk over to that left foot and come into down dog. Bring your knees to the mat, cross your ankles, grab your blocks, nothing fancy. We're just gonna transition to sitting, and I want your blocks close by. So, being out on my back patio, it's a little wet out here from the rain yesterday. I gotta dry my blocks off. All right, so we're working this elephant trunk pose. And again, we're still working the strength and power. We did some flexibility work throughout our whole practice. So we'll get that soon too. So if you're sitting up and you need your knees bent, go ahead and bend your knees. But take your hands outside and a little, here's your hip bones, a little bit forward of those hips. Because you want to be able to pull in and tuck and round just a little bit. Think of cat pose. Or if you like to hear me cue Pillsbury, right? When you poke the belly, he rounds in. So first give me a little push-up. Lift your bottom off the floor if you can. Lift and lower. So if you need to make fists for wrists, make sure your thumbs are wrapped in. We're not pushing those thumbs into the floor. Here we go. Lift and lower. 2 more times. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Bend this left knee. Let your heel rest on the earth. Same thing. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Now I want you to lift up and hold and hover this right foot off the earth. You're probably going to dig into your left heel, but try to use your upper body a little bit more. Here we go. 5, pull your belly button in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down, shake it out. Roll out those wrists. Flick water off your fingertips, whatever works for you. All right, we have 2 legs. So bend the right knee. The heel is on the ground. Here we go. We're going to lift and lower a few times. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Now lift that front leg, the left leg, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Shake it out. Roll the wrists. Any stretching you need to do. There is a lot of pressure there. If you were going straight up, I want you to remember we need to use our abs. Pull the belly in to help give you that pull to lift everything up. All right, so move the blocks off to the side and go ahead and tuck your left foot into your inner thigh. Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, reach up tall. Turn your belly button to the knee. Exhale, fold. And as you fold, turn your left shoulder down just a little bit more. Sometimes that shoulder is opening and we're really stretching with our right side. So turn that left shoulder down. Really square shoulders and hips. Wherever you are at in this stretch, I want you to move your right arm inside the leg. Even if you're up tall, move that hand inside. Those of you that are really far in your flexibility, try and tuck your shoulder right next to your thigh. And then let's all lift our left arm up to the sun and then stretch it over by our ear. We've done this earlier. Some of you can grab a hold of the pinky side of your right foot and spin a little bit more. Breathe into those left ribs 2 more times. As you rise up, place the left hand behind. We're going to lift the hips. Circle the arms around and float the hips up in a little back bend here. Our spine is meant to move in all directions. Float back down. And change legs. We bring the left leg out. Tuck the right foot in. Inhale, grow tall. Turn your belly button to the knee and exhale up and over that thigh. Notice your shoulders. Is the right one sitting higher? Pull that shoulder down towards the earth just a little bit more. Lengthen it. It's not about getting to this leg. It's about not diving, but lengthening into the stretch. 2 more breaths here. Make sure that right shoulder is pulling down a little bit. Get ready for your twist. So the left arm goes inside. It doesn't matter how close the shoulder gets. Just bring it inside. Some of you can get really close, but then bring your right arm up and stretch it over your ear. Still lengthen and maybe hold the pinky side of your left foot and twist a little bit more. Two more breaths here. Breathe into this right side. On your next inhale, rise up. Place the right hand behind you. As you swing the left arm around, lift up in a little arch back here. Use your right shoulder to come up to rest your head on so your neck is supported. Slowly release down and come back to center. What I want you to do here is grab a hold of your big toes with your peace sign fingers, your ankles, your calves. I know, we stretched. It should be easy, right? No, let's go ahead and lift into our boat pose. Some of you will open the legs and tip forward to stretch deeper into those inner thighs. Then come back up. And holding legs up, bring the hands down and bring your heels down. Now cross their left ankle over the thigh and see if you can lay back and do a reclining cradle the baby. So as you lay back, some of you are going to stay right here. Others, you're going to release your right leg out long and hold at your ankle and calf of the left leg. Some of you will take your elbows to the ankle and calf. You're like, my leg does not do that, but you are happy here. I need you to stay here. And others, elbow to elbow in this reclining version. I like to hover my right leg just so I'm not putting pressure into my back, but do what feels right for you. As you bend the right knee and float into half happy baby, you can hold the outer blade of your left foot. You could use a belt or a towel over the ball of the foot and use it for your half happy baby. Then release your left foot down, cross your right ankle over the thigh. First, come into figure 4. For some of you, this is where you're going to stay. You don't have to go any further. Otherwise, you can grip the calf and grip the ankle, hovering the leg out. You can go to elbows. Now notice the flexibility on each side of the body is going to be a little bit different. Or you can go elbow to elbow. But watch this ankle. If it's sickling in, I need you to keep that foot flat if you're going elbow to elbow. Then bend your knee. Start to open into this half happy baby. Then release the feet, heel toe them together, and butterfly the knees, Supta Baddha Konasana. Place one hand on your heart, the other hand on the stomach. Let's go back to that breath we did in the beginning, that 3-part breath where we're inhaling to rise the belly, then we bring the air behind the heart, and then we send it to the back of our throat, and then we do the same in reverse, throat, heart, belly. When you're ready, start your inhale. Imagine you're pressing the stale air out of the bottom of those lungs. Two more times. When you finish the last one, let your arms release. Feel free to let the legs release out to the corners of your mat. Coming into this final pose, Shavasana. Where can we soften? What are we still holding on to that no longer serves a purpose in the mind or body? You're welcome to stay here. Start to wiggle those fingers and toes. Bring movement to the body. If you like, extend the arms overhead and stretch long through fingers and toes. And let's hug the legs to the chest. Let this love be a hug of love and gratitude. Being grateful for this amazing body you have and all that it does. Let's go ahead and roll from shoulder blades to tailbone 3 times, but if you're protecting the back, roll to your side and use both hands to push up, but just a little massage of the spine. And on the last one, when you roll up, feel free to just come back into that easy seated, and we can bring the hands to the heart. Let's finish the class with this Om. So take a nice big inhale. Om. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to come onto the mat and join me for this flow. From my heart to yours, namaste.